always known that I wanted to go into the medical field. And after many years of deciding on what I wanted to do, I decided that emergency services were for me. About 2 years ago, I began in the fire service. We have run all kinds of calls, including medical calls, and that is what led up to my decision of becoming a EMT. So, EMS provides immediate medical care to anybody who is in need. They are essentially the difference between life and death, and they can have lasting effects on the patient's health. EMS provides immediate care pre-hospital, and what that means is that the patient will have care before they arrive to the hospital, which in most cases, if you don't call 911, you won't get. The process is interesting to learn because it starts off in dispatch. Dispatch will receive a 911 call, and it will go to the ambulance that is going to respond to the scene. The ambulance arrives, and then they assume patient care. So dispatch is able to understand what kind of need that they have, and the ambulance is able to get there and provide immediate care. With that, the crew is able to arrive at the hospital and give information on what happened prior to arrival. And they are able to better understand how to care for the patient when they arrive at the hospital. According to Julia Kin and students and residents, EMTs arrive on scene and they give en route information and on scene information to the hospital, which is called the patient handoff report. Because of that, the hospital is able to better care for their patients and have a more accurate reading on what's going on. Background knowledge is important, but so is what happens during the actual care. EMS care could essentially be the difference between life and death. So when crews arrive on a scene to somebody who's unresponsive, they have the knowledge to proceed with the call. So if you arrive on a scene where somebody is in cardiac arrest and they have to perform life-saving CPR, the paramedic will be able to give life-saving drugs, while the EMT on the truck is also able to perform CPR. According to Ying Chao Zhang in Computal and Mathematical Methods in Medicine, death rates lower dramatically whenever you have pre-hospital care. What that means is that the ambulance arrives on scene and is able to do things before they get to the hospital. When the ambulance gets onto a scene, they are able to quickly get out of their truck and assess the situation. They're able to see what's going on and how to handle it. As well as being on scene and taking care of a patient, en route to the hospital is just as important because they are able to see just what's going on, and they're able to continue their life-saving performance en route to the hospital. As well as saving lives, EMS workers also provide the ability to help with aftercare, what happens after they go to the hospital, what happens after they get back home. So EMS also provides the ability to care long-term. T.W. Ritchie and others in Frontiers said that EMS transports from the hospital to long-term care facilities, which could be anything from dialysis to just your average nursing home. There's also something called we have BLS trucks and ALS trucks. You have your basic life support and your advanced life support. Your basic life support trucks are typically going to be the trucks that respond to these calls where you're taking your patient inter-facility from home to a nursing home, from nursing home to their appointments, and that also is what helps with the long-term health of a patient. The basic life support crews are able to use early detection and stabilization in critical patients because the patient that is going to the hospital or going to their appointment is able to get care from this truck as well. Early access in time-sensitive emergencies is the first step in intervening in a positive way. As I've said before, EMS are the first to arrive on scene. They immediately take care of the patient, and they are able to do every life-saving measure that they can possibly en route to the hospital, and that with that it betters the chance of survival of the patient. And not everybody gets a chance to see this side of the work, but I honestly wouldn't trade it for anything.